Hi.
So, what is your name and what do you teach?
Stacey Clark. I teach second grade ESL.
Great.
Yeah.
How long have you been teaching with ELL students in your classroom?
Probably 15 years.
Okay.
So
What type of ELLs do you have in your classroom this year?
I have Spanish speakers, Vietnamese, and Urdu.
Okay. So, how far along are they in their process of how much English do they know?
They speak English basically almost the same as the kids that just speak English.
Okay.
But yeah, some of them they do have. Sometimes they need to have some clarification.
Okay. So, what would you say they seem to struggle with the most in the classroom?
Probably writing, because if they're still speaking one way, the English translates differently, and so the writing ends up being a little bit more of a struggle for them.
Okay. So what kinds of approaches or strategies do you use with them?
A lot of things we do, I have a kindergarten background too, so a lot of the things that we do stems from that. Lots of visuals, lots of repeated instruction. Just, I do read test questions to them and answers. That is one of the modifications that we can make for them, and so that does seem to help them. They have to read the rest of the test, but we get to read the questions and answers. So that is more of a challenge. Oh, never mind. That's one of the strategies we use, yeah.
So I know you mentioned that it's part of their modifications. Are there any other reasons why you chose to do it this way, or is that just what's recommended? Or
it's recommended, and there are several modifications that we do use with ELL students. Should have gotten that out. And I'll show it to you. So visuals, peer interaction, a lot of it, we do use the peers a lot, but a lot of it is repeating. A lot of it is just enunciating, focusing on certain things that make sure they understand.
Okay, awesome. So what type of authentic assessments do you use with your students?
Mostly, sorry. We do the Tell Pass, which rates what level they're on for ELL and if they can exit. So if they're pretty much performing like the English speaking students, they'll be able to exit. But we also do our DPMs mid-year, end of the year, beginning of the year, to find out how they are doing.
Okay. So the Tell Pass, is that something that's done on the computer? Is it written? Or
this year, yes. It used to be, sorry. Sitting down, I was young. It used to be that we rated them in listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And now the only thing that the teacher does is the writing. We rate their writing, and they have to have 5 writing samples that is taken from a certain time frame. The rest of it is now on the computer. So they do that all through the computer.
So what do you think has been more beneficial, this new thing that they've set up, or more when it's coming from you, or what do you think?
I don't know. I'm curious to see how they'll do, because we're with them all year long, so we know where they are, and I'm curious to see what if they have a bad day taking the test on the computer. What if their headphones aren't working very well? I'm very interested, very curious to see how that works out. So I don't know the answer to that.
So do you have any advice for future teachers of ELLs?
You have to like it. I got into it just because in kindergarten, it's really the same kind of thing that you do in kindergarten, just a lot of repetition and visuals. But I don't know. I just enjoy it, I guess.
Are there any things that you struggle with from a teacher's standpoint, like being able to, like what kind of?
Sorry. Yes, the ones that trying to see, is it their actual level of knowledge, or is it because of ESL? If they're struggling, is it is it because of ESL or is it just because they're lower performer? So that is one of the struggles that I have, because if they're low in general, then I have to ask, do you think it is because of ELL, and why? So that's when it's close like that, that's difficult.
All right. Well, great. Thank you so
All right.
much.
You're welcome.